Hi everyone. So I've been running around all day. So making a video. Anyways, so I took Ross to have his bandages replaced, and he did have them replaced. And Sunday he can have his sutures removed, and that means that he will be completely healed. And that's just great news. As traumatizing as it is to have, a hate crime against you when someone goes after your, service dog and, goes after your dog because you're, of Hispanic descent. That's very hurtful. That's very scary. But I'm just so incredibly thankful that he has basically recovered from this horrific injury. And I did have to go to Harvard Square because that's where the vet is. Well, I had to take the bus from Harvard Square to go to the vet, and thankfully I did not see that MBTA worker there today, which is good because the last time he really creeped me out. I was really hoping he wouldn't speak to me. I had to give away my car in September, as people know, because I couldn't afford the repairs. And since then, I've been taking the MBTA, which is something I haven't been taken since I was like 19 years old. I've always worked. I've always had a car. I've always been responsible. And that is a white supremacist nightmare, a stable Hispanic person like me. So they had to go and destroy my life in every single way possible. Anyways, so it hasn't been easy riding the MBTA. Especially as a homeless person, people think that they can give you a hard time, and when you tell them, no, I'm not taking your crap, they get taken back by it. And it's like, listen, people protect me. I've helped thousands of people. I am very beautiful, and I am not going to let anybody mess with me on the T, whether it be an employee or another rider. You're not going to be giving me attitude or touching me. Oh my God, I want people to not touch me. It disgusts me. I always try to sit in the back and keep myself away from people because I don't want somebody to accidentally bump into me, because then I'll vomit. I just don't want people invading my space. That was the first thing that happened when I was on the T. I had to make sure people weren't coming near me. I had to keep my distance. So anyways, what was I saying? Yes. So it hasn't been easy riding the T as someone who's always driven and has lost everything. And I thought the car was going to be the last thing. And then I thought the storage unit was going to be the last thing. And then they went after my dog. But he's, going to make a full recovery and have his sutures removed on Sunday. So that is amazing news. It just shows what a fighter he is, what a fighter I am, how well I take care of my dog despite being homeless. So it's just, but going back to the MBTA, I mean, that MBTA employee, because he was the guy that worked at, I don't really know what his title is, racist guy that works at the Harvard Square. He went after my dog, so that was one of the, I gotta say, the worst experience I've ever had in my life with the MBTA was, that hate crime against my dog. But it isn't easy. It isn't easy being in a bus with strangers and trains with people you don't know, and, people wanting to bump into you. And I've had this crate for Ross and a cart with wheels, to get him around. And I have a suitcase, so I have a lot of stuff with me. And I am mindful of that. I try to go to the back if there's availability. If the bus is packed, I do the best I can if I'm in the front of the bus, And often, people are clumsy and they bump into the cart where Ross is in. They kick the cart. Are you kicking my dog? So I get frustrated. So I do the best I can to prevent that from happening and to try to be considerate of other people, even though most people are not considerate of me. And if I'm sitting in the back and I see people, coming towards the back to find seats, often I will move the cart, maybe just move it, or sometimes I'll get up move the cart and stand out of the way, stand out of the, hallway area and let people walk by. And then when all the people are seated in the back seat, then I'll go back and sit down in my seat, to prevent people from tripping or, I say tripping. Do you see my fingers? Or accidentally bumping into, what is up with this thing that don't like my fingers? Anyways, I don't know, the camera doesn't like that I talk with my hands sometimes. But what I'm saying is, often I get up and I stand near the door, the back door, just to make sure people have enough room to get by and not kick my dog, because that's just very inconsiderate. So, when I do that, I've had bus drivers freaking tell me, don't block the door. A few of them. And they're not even opening the door yet. I'm just letting other riders get by. I'm not blocking the door. Nobody's exiting the door. I'm just letting people get by so they don't trip on the cart or kick it. Which I don't see why somebody would kick it other than them just being an indecent human being. But anyways, yesterday, I got up, to get to get the cart away from people. And there was this group of girls who thought they were all that in a bag of chips, and they weren't. But, that doesn't faze me. I worry about myself, and I ignore other people, because I don't care about other people. If they want to give me a hard time, that's on them. But I just defend myself when needed. I was totally ignoring them and tuning them out. But I guess they were getting on. I didn't know what they were doing. They were messing around. I tried to, get up to get out of their way, because they were exiting the bus. And there was a pack of them, And, so I moved Ross's car, and the bus driver, she closes the door on the cart. Nothing happened to Ross, but mind you, I already have PTSD of what happened in Harvard Square. And then this bus driver sits there and closes the door on Ross's cart. And she was already being rude to me the entire ride, and I was being quiet the entire ride, And I tried to remain calm, but I gave her a piece of my mind. I was like, hey, that's animal cruelty. Hey, I was just trying to get in the way to let people get by. I was being considerate of people. And that's not even the first bus driver that did that, to try to close the door on Ross. That happened over a month ago when I first started riding the train. A bus driver did that and thought it was funny. It's hard riding the buses and the trains. And I do the best I can to avoid problems with other riders and other MBTA employees. And thankfully, once Ross gets his sutures out, he won't need to be in the crate anymore, in that cart, so it'll make life easier. And I do have 2 lockers now. The locker that didn't work last night, the lock that I bought it at Walmart, it didn't work. I ended up throwing it away, and I bought another lock for the locker at Planet Fitness. So that's all set. I have 2 lockers. That way I don't have to carry too much stuff on the buses and the trains. But I just wish people were more considerate, and stop pointing the finger at the wrong person. I'm carrying a lot of stuff. My dog was injured on the MBTA. You would think you wouldn't want to slam the door on somebody whose dog that already happened to. You'd think you would have some more consideration. Not the case. We live in a messed up world. But I just want the public to know I am respectful of people. I am quiet when I'm riding the T, but I will stick up for myself. Don't think because I'm homeless I won't stick up for myself, because I will. I will stick up for myself if I need to, and people do care about me. So much so that what happened to Ross did make the news. Okay? So I mind my business, you mind your business, and just leave me alone when I'm riding the bus and the train. I don't want any problems with anybody, but don't think because I'm homeless that I would ever tolerate any mistreatment from anyone, from anywhere, because it just won't ever happen. And with that, I'll end the video. Talk to you soon.